All right, so committed relationships, what do they look like? What are the different forms? So committed relationships, most adults value having a committed relationship with another person. So we can look at cohabitation, so living together, marriage, living together and being married, or if you don't get married, we have a domestic partnership. Now you have to understand these types of relationships matter under the law, right? So, for example, if someone's cohabitating and let's say someone gets hurt, they go to the hospital, are they going to let the other person go see their partner or not? What are the tax benefits like if you're married or domestic partnerships? What is um, health coverage like? What are the different types of benefits? And it actually makes a difference under the law. Okay. So cohabitation, the living together without being married or, being under the law. Unmarried couples living under the same roof increased significant during the last century. It can allow time to get to know the partner before marriage, and a lot of people choose to do that. Issues of unwed pregnancies, poverty, relationship must be addressed. Those couples who do get married after cohabitating are more likely to get divorced. So that's really interesting. And you have to understand, you know, they are giving you the statistics in this country. Marriage has a practical implication, benefits, obligations. Benefits include better mental, physical, financial health. So they actually see this. So people who get married usually have better financial health, physical, mental. But half of couples married for the first time will end the relationship with divorce. When I was growing up, it was higher than half. Now it's a little bit lower than half, but it's about 50%. So like 1 in 2 or 5 in 10 of marriages will end up in divorce. Some simply do not believe that marriage is a lifelong commitment. As expectations of marriage go up, marital satisfaction goes down. So having those expectations, what are they? Just know that people are people. People are not perfect. That perfect partner does not exist, okay? And when I say that, I'm not being fatalistic, I'm being realistic, okay? Just like you are not a perfect person, your partner is not a perfect person. And when you realize that, I think it lends itself to be happy because then you're like, oh, they're just a person just like me, and they're imperfect just like me. And we can work on what we can agree upon and what we disagree, and through that and through those open discussions, you can have a better relationship. Domestic partnership. So, what is that? A legal arrangement in which a couple lives together in a long term committed relationship, receives some but not all of the rights of married couples. Legal benefits vary widely based on location. Domestic partnership is an option for homosexual, heterosexual couples who have lived together for a length of time. And again, so for example, if a partner dies, who inherits, whatever? Again, if a partner gets a stroke, who's able to help or go visit in the hospital or whatever the case may be. So there are definite legal ramifications for these types of partnerships, and I think understanding that is important. Okay. There's a section in the book that talks about like same-sex marriage and the state of the current debate in it, and the reasons why. Why is this important? Because it says a couple's status can affect whether they're entitled to certain tax advantages, healthcare benefits, community property rights, and rights to surviving children, right? So these are real things that couples will acquire with one another. And so if you're thinking about your partner or your partner's health, those are things to think about. Okay. So it says, moreover, homosexual couples have been denied the right to become foster parents, adoptive parents, to petition for their partners to immigrate, and to become residents in the same nursing home. Until 2011, same-sex partners could even be denied the right to visit each other in the hospital. So, I think these are really deep-rooted fundamental rights, you know? And you have to think about that. If you love someone and that person's your partner and that person has been your partner for years and years and years, imagine if your partner is hurt and you cannot speak up for your partner. Um, yeah. So knowing your rights is incredibly important. Some people opt to stay single. And again, I remember when I was a kid, and if you're single, it's like, what's wrong with you? I don't know if you guys feel that too. It's really unfortunate, honestly, because I think people should have the right to choose if they want to be in a partnership or not. If they don't find the right partner. Now, again, if you're looking for the perfect person, you'll never find them, okay? You'll always be dissatisfied because nobody's perfect. But if you choose to be alone, that's your choice, okay? So it says in 2013, one national survey found that about 65% Americans aged 18 to 34 have never been married. Some prefer to focus on education and careers. So we're seeing that marriages, people are getting older before they get married. Rising cohabitation rates mean that many people are choosing to remain legally single while still receiving the benefits of a committed relationship. Women are much more financially independent, face less pressure to marry for economic stability. Attitudes about child rearing have changed. Single people are likely to have networks of important relationships that last years beyond many marriages. So interesting stuff there. There's a picture, there's a graphic. Students and relationships. So unmarried with dependents. I mean, look at that. Married with dependents, married with no dependents, and married with no dependents. So kind of interesting little pie graph here. Starting a family. That is a big decision. I was married for a long time before I had kids, and we chose to have kids. I know of people, and I don't agree with this at all, okay? I'm just letting you know, okay? I know of people who have kids thinking it will improve their relationship, okay? Nothing could be further from the truth. Kids make things harder. Kids are wonderful. Kids could be the best thing ever and the most frustrating thing ever. And for those of you who have kids, you know what I'm talking about, right? So if people think, oh, we're going to have kids and we'll be a beautiful, happy family, not necessarily so, okay? Kids require that you're selfless. Kids require your time. Kids require money. Kids require so much. Kids can cause a lot of argument because what if one parent wants to parent this way and the other parent wants to parent the other way? So starting a family is something that you really need to think about, and it takes a lot of commitment, okay? So birth rates in the United States are at all-time low, so not a lot of people compared to before. Women usually are waiting longer to have children, spacing birth further apart, ending fertility earlier. Now, there are, of course, non-traditional families, so single-parent households. Unmarried couples are on the rise, with their number increasing sixfold since the 1950s. In 2015, only 70% of US children live with two married biological parents, so like 30% don't, right? Choosing to have children. So what are the things, what do children do to the relationship? They change it. 100% they change the relationship. There's going to be changes with family and friends. You can't go out with friends the way you used to. Or maybe you have friends that don't have kids, so they don't understand what you're going through. For sure, less time for yourself, because now you're sharing with your children. Your health can be affected. Your finances, absolutely. Kids cost a lot of money. Feeding them, diapers, clothes, childcare arrangements, that costs a lot of money. Who's going to watch your kids? Parenting styles, that can cause a lot of disputes. And I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. I'm just saying that it's complicated and you'll probably never be ready. I remember I waited a long time to have kids and someone said you'll never be ready. And I thought, it's true. You're never really ready. When you're young, you don't have money, so you're not ready. When you're old, you have money, but you don't have time or you get tired so But knowing that it takes a lot of self-sacrifice, I think that's the biggest thing. Step families. There are a lot of step families. About 40% of all American marriages are remarriages for at least one of the spouses. And many of these families include children from prior relationships. So the idea of step families and creating those relationships. Blended families have become commonplace in modern society. Three-fourths of divorced adults go on to remarry. So a lot of people will get remarried. In 65% of these remarriages, one or both partners have children from previous relationship. It can take several years for a family member to integrate, and the effort is not always successful, right? It's hard. How, step brothers, step sisters, step dad, step mom. So setting realistic expectations, encourage opening communication can help, right? So that's really important. Single parents, about 40% of children today are born to unmarried mothers. Most often, single parents are females. So if a woman is single and has a child, there are usually economic hardships. It's hard. Now, one of the biggest hurdles faced by single mothers is economic hardship. Sometimes you hear about moms being without a home, right? So homeless, having problems with that, and their kids too. Research is mixed on whether being raised in a single parent household is detrimental to children. I mean, it's difficult. It doesn't mean that it's detrimental. I don't really like that word. Characteristics of happy families. So how, there's more than one way to do it right. Of course there are. But what are the things that create happy families? Commitment. Okay. They're dedicated to the family and promote one another's happiness, being honest, faithful, dependable. That's so important, that you're there for your partner, that you're there for your kids. Appreciation and affection. They care for one another and not afraid to express it. Positive communication. They're good talkers, good listeners, right? So that's really important. Time together. Right now, with COVID-19, with all this social distancing, it's funny because people are talking about it. People have more time together. Yeah. Spiritual well being, hope, faith, compassion, shared ethical values, whatever they may be, manage stress and crisis. Right now, especially, there's a lot of stress, whether it's financial, whether it's, health, uh, whether it's fear. I mean, there's so much stress, and learning how to manage it and be okay and be there for your partner and your family. So finally, change yourself, change your world. Personal choices. We all have a choice to be who we want to be, to choose how we want to live. And isn't that a wonderful thing? So, really important to stay true to who you are. Sometimes it's so easy to think you should do this or to think you should do that to fit a specific mold. But who are you truly? And being true to yourself, we're all different and it's okay. Respect others for who they are, right? Learn to give and receive, lighten up. Oh, that's a hard one, right? It's not that serious. Um, Sometimes it feels like it's life and death. Maybe it is, but most of the time it's not. Campus advocacy. There are groups on campus that can help. There's all kinds of good stuff that happens on campus. It says keep lines of communication open, initiate conversation. Words are not the most important part of human communication. Empathize. Join a campus organization that promotes tolerance. So needs, campus pride. Needs stands for, we don't have that on our campus, but it says the National Educational Association of Disabled Students. I don't think we do. I haven't heard of it. Campus pride, that has to do with LGBTQ. We don't call it that. We call it the Lavender Coalition. So we do have that on campus. Explore new options. Okay, you guys, like I said, I truly like this chapter. Because like I said, I think being in relationships can be so valuable. It could be so fruitful. It could be so um, enlightening, um, could could give so much joy. And I think as humans, we are very social beings. So learning how to be social and learning how to enjoy those relationships. Okay, I hope this video finds you well. And like I said, I do miss you guys. I miss our interactions. I miss normalcy. Okay. Hope you're well and your families are well.